Hello, everyone, and as always, welcome back to Strategy Gaming Dojo, where we find, learn, and play one more turn of the great strategy games. And today it's into the flagship title, Gary Grigsby's War in the East 2. This is our Let's Play against the Soviet AI, and I've once again moved my head around. I thought, let's see the mini map. But I had it in the center last time. It goes to show you the power of modern technology. I can move my head all over the Eastern Front. It's incredible. Looks like we've got a good number already in the chat. Let's just go back so I can say hello. I don't want to leave anyone out. Sarge the Rager was first. I knew he would be. Hi, Warskins. Salty Dodger, what's going on? Um, the units in the south we could set to static. That's actually probably a pretty good idea, and maybe we will this time. Good day, General Staff, says Mr. AMMW. John Chappell is here. James Norton is here. Good number of members. I love to see the badges. And Sarge decides to put in a dojo. That is the one thing you can do as a member. You can type dojo and up it pops. Fantastic. Hi, TBJ. And Lucas is here. Lucas, thank you for the insightful comment under the last video. I didn't have any complaints with what you had to say there. Jan, how's it going? We've had a lot of units that have probably withdrawn this turn, so we're going to have to go look at all that. We're going to do the usual run around, look at the stats, and we'll start moving down the map. I'm not going to move the air back on this time. I think that'll be a next turn thing. You can see the mud is starting to move across the map. To some extent, having the air units on, just soaking up freight doesn't make a whole lot of sense because I don't think there's going to be a whole lot of movement during the mud season. Hey Stanley, what's going on? Yes, I'm Prussian Von Dojo. Okay, let's take a peek at what happened last time. Well, big news is we made it past the check, and so the victory points down here. Soviets are at 508. They need 575 now for a sudden victory. Woohoo! We made it by the skin of our teeth. But we did make it indeed. Breaking news. It's now April 4th, 1943. In the war in Europe, Axis air setback in North Africa. Okay. North African campaign events are moved forward. Italian campaign events are moved forward. Excess garrison in Italy, though. So we did gain a victory point and an AP. Now, I mentioned this last time. Even if we would have lost Minsk or Pskov or Odessa, the AI still would not have won. It would have missed it by 1 point. It would have had 524. Although this is a turn 94 event. And so I don't know if this would have happened before the check. You know what I mean? Now, it's just, I don't know. I think this happens at the start of our logistics turn. So it's possible we would have lost, even though we wouldn't have really lost if the event would have happened anyway. It doesn't matter. It's kind of interesting to think about, though. I'm not sure. I know that there's a place in the rule book we could figure that out. But we did it. We made it. Soviet partisans, we know they're around. That's fine. They can't stop us. Okay, so here we go. I mean, it's turn 107. We're about halfway through the game. I mean, it's 215 turns would be a full game. Now, you may say we're on episode 275 and we're halfway through the game. Yes. I love it. I love it. All right, let's look at the stats. What's coming in, what's going out. Um, to the map, we get the 129th Infantry Division. You can see it's almost fully formed here. 16,572 very skilled Germans, I'm sure. Back onto the map at 170, 170. That's out by Warsaw, so that is a rebuilt unit. What we're looking for is from map to somewhere else. We don't see any of those, so we don't have any withdrawers at the end of this turn. Next turn, however, you can see map to Western Europe, map to Western Europe, and we got to, figure out exactly where these are. We may even come back to this screen at the end of the turn or as we go along to figure out exactly where these are, because that would be a disaster, right? To get a hole in the line because we didn't pay attention to this. So when they say map on the from, that's bad. When they say map on the to, that's good. We did get a new division in, not a rebuilt division, a brand new reinforcement division. The 257th Infantry Division comes in by Berlin. That's great. We get three more infantry divisions that are rebuilt at Warsaw here, the 134th, the 31st, and the 30th. So all told, we get we get one new infantry division and four rebuilt divisions. So five different divisions we can parse out, and we need parsing certainly. Okay, let's take a look at the stats. Now, last turn we lost 26,000 men, which is a little bit high for us recently, where there were a lot of attacks. The Hungarians got really devastated last turn, and so a lot of lost Hungarians. 612 artillery, that's bad. 85 AFVs and 33 aircraft. So really, I mean, we took a beating last turn for a spring kind of late snowfall just before the mud turn. We took quite a beating last time. On the map, we lose 28,000 troops. Now that's pretty crazy when you consider we're getting five full divisions back on the map. Okay, we did have some withdrawers at the end of last turn, including a number of the Italian units, so we'll have to look at that. We lost 402 guns, 296 AFVs, because we did lose a Panzer division that is just to the Western Front, I think, or the Balkans. I can't remember, but it doesn't really matter. We lost it on our map, and so. We're down almost 300 AFVs there. 10 aircraft leave the map. Okay, the Soviets, of course, gained 27,000 and 1,000 artillery pieces. So another 1,500 net swing in artillery. I say swing as if he's not, so far in front of us. It's like when you're running a race, if you've ever been a runner, and you can see the guy way off in the distance you're trying to catch, but then he goes over that hill. That's kind of where we are with artillery. We can't even see him anymore. Negative 129 for Soviet AFVs, so we did go a little down there, a little bit down on the aircraft. Logistics are fine. Our logistics look totally fine. We've talked about that, why that is potentially, but overall they're fine. Everybody's getting food, everybody's getting bullets, and our panzers have fuel. So that's all we need to know. Supply alerts, we can just look out and see where the potential supply problems are, where we may want to be building. Let's take the air. Whoops. Yeah, nope, not that. Let's take the air off here. There we go. You can see in the south the supply situation's pretty damn good. I mean, we've got a few things here or there, but nothing major. The supply problems start up, kind of in the marshes, right? And in the Minsk salient that we just barely kept wide enough. The Soviets made a massive push right there through the Hungarians. Now, we had German units here as well, but he really put a stomping on us there. In the north, supply looks pretty good. I mean, we got a couple of units there. If we look at strength alerts, we have 98 under strength, 33 unready, and 3 completely depleted. Well, the depleted ones are right out here. These are Luftwaffe field divisions. The unready ones are a lot of Hungarians. We also have some German units, though, including this German unit here and right behind Pskov. Oh, this is the I'm sorry, this is that fort. So that's not actually true, but that's another fort. But these are actual units down here that are unready, and then we have some completely depleted. I really like this map feature because you can get a very quick look at both your supply and strength where you've got real problems. And we've got real problems right here. I should extend that all of this right here as he pushes for Königsberg. Now, I never thought I'd be saying that in this game, but yet that is where we are. So, okay, that all is fun. Let's go to the info screens, and we will go to the order of battle if you desire. We've got 240,000 Germans in the reserves, 26,000 allies, about 2.5 million Germans on the map, 875 of the Allied variety. Soviets, not quite to 6 million, but their total force is over 6 million. but not on the map necessarily. Reserve forces, it's only showing 3,000, but again, I don't think that's accurate. We wouldn't even know what the reserve forces are. Losses. Yeah. Okay, you can see the current turn. Soviets up to 10.1 million. We're at 3.3 million. That doesn't really matter. Still 3 to 1 on the gun losses. That doesn't really matter. Needs to be 4 or 5 to 1, as we've talked about. AFVs are pretty much 5 to 1. That's probably actually not that terrible, but you'd probably want to extend that out to 6 or 7 to 1, really, to be feeling good. Production screen. You can take a peek at that. If we look at our manpower pool in Germany, we got 81,000 men. The Hungarians have a lot of men. They just don't fight particularly well, um, or they don't have the equipment. All those historical arguments. Regardless, the Hungarians get chewed up in this game. 121,000 men in the pool, though, so they can keep dumping them in. Luckily, we still have the Romanians. We got to make sure that we don't lose Romania. If we lose Romania, we'll lose the game. I don't care how many checks we get past, because they're just holding too many important things now, and that is another position you don't want to be in. Oh, okay, that was production. Let's go to the charts. You can see when the Soviets took over on the initiative, it was 441. They're now at 508 as they kind of build a bull flag here if you're into charts. Um, Victory points, losses, manpower losses. This has stayed very consistent across the winter. You can see we popped up here a little bit up to that 26,000, but it's basically been 40 to 50,000 to 10 to 20,000. That's kind of been the range during this time period. We're knocking out 2 to 1 on the guns, but it's not enough. AFVs we're probably knocking out 30 to 1, and it doesn't really matter at this point. Total aircraft losses, he's lost quite a bit of aircraft running what I assume are bombing missions back into our production. We haven't taken a look at that. Maybe we will this time. On the map men. Not Mad Men, Map Men, 5.866, 3.339. Now that looks bad. You know why? Because it is. Okay. Map guns. Whoop. Straight up the old wicket. 76,000 artillery pieces to 31,000. Yeah. AFVs 11,200 to 2,900. You can start seeing the man or the machine advantages here. 6,600, 1,323 on the aircraft. We have a lot of aircraft in reserves. This would be about 2 to 1 if we pulled them all back on the map. But I doubt we're going to do that this turn. Let's go to the weather. It is snowfall all over at the start of the turn on the ground. Let's go to the air, and you can see here it's now just cold. So it's no longer snowing on the map, the playable map. It's snowing up here, right? Snowfall, but we see no more blizzards, and you see a lot of rain kind of cupping Eastern Europe. Um, Okay, at the end of the turn, you can see the big rain showers that are going to be hitting shortly, or let's hope they do. April showers bring May flowers. Let's hope that's true for the Germans. And then it'll get muddy as hell. That's what I'm hoping. That'll slow them down a little bit more. We're totally on the defensive, although we will run some kind of summer offensive, just limited encirclements and whatnot. Maybe not so limited in this area or in this area or, potentially down by Odessa or maybe in this area to take the pressure off Romania. We'll have to see. So there is all of that. To the comments I go. Uh, Talking about my guy von Manstein, I see. Stanley says, take a look at the comments on the last war in the Pacific. I did, Stanley. The 164th Regiment. See, I told you my mind's a steel trap. I think you may be right. You know what it is, Stanley. I'm not sure that there's a good philosophical reason for it, and I'll talk more about it on that recording. But I think I should have bought out the 164th, Stanley. I think you're right about that. So see, um, Yep. Lucas brings up a good point because this did happen. Um, Check withdrawal on the units you choose for refitting in the reserves because we did refit a unit that was withdrawing on turn 95 because a lot of things, as Lucas points out, that were involved in Stalingrad will be with quote unquote withdrawing to kind of follow along with the historical narrative. Now we're nowhere near Stalingrad, but yes, good point. Big Head Valley, I disagree about von Manstein. I don't. Well, overrated is subjective, right? I mean, it's hard to tell what overrated means. I think some people think maybe he's the finest general of all time. That may be overrated. But I'll say his tactical withdrawal in the South, it's hard to find much better than that. What he was able to do, given his constraints, I think was quite amazing. Now, did he puff some of that up in his biography, autobiography? Certainly he did. Certainly he did. I mean, if I'm naming top generals, I start with Napoleon and I go from there. Um, but von Manstein is certainly in a top 10 conversation, in my opinion. In my opinion. Now, there's a lot that goes into that, right? Like, how do you treat Alexander the Great? I don't know. I mean, he took over probably the most land of any man, or Attila, or something like that. How do you put those all in some kind of comparison? I would say for World War II, I would consider von Manstein, given what he had as the top general of World War II, in my opinion. I think all of the American generals are overrated, of course. I think Montgomery, I think as far as German generals go, I think anybody that was in Africa was overrated. Um, Rommel, of course, but that's an easy one, right? Everybody says Rommel was overrated. But anyway, we can get in that discussion at a different time. And again, all opinions are my own, not the channel's. Is there a difference? Oh, by the way, I'm going to get a new headset today. So some of you have said, "Hey, bump up the volume." I've got the pump up the volume. What is this? The 1980s? Am I in a dance club? Pump up the volume. Pump up. I'm going to be getting a new headset today because this headset is an old work headset. This is as high as it goes, guys. I mean, I guess they didn't want me talking a whole lot on conference calls. So, anyway, I will be getting a new headset, and hopefully that'll help a little bit with the volume boost. Oh yeah, Ukraine, Putin. I'm not going to get into that again today. Nobody really gives a damn about my thoughts about it. I play strategy war games on the computer. I will say I continue to be baffled by exactly what's going on the ground over there, but I think everybody is, even you know, Soviet. See, I do it every time. Russian experts about that part of the world, so-called experts, have gotten it wrong every step of the way. So I'm not sure exactly why what is happening on the ground is happening. Okay, let's play the damn game. And I think with the air again, let's go to the reserves. Uh, and just look at the air, what we're going to be able to bring back on the map. We'll probably do it over several turns as it rains. I don't want to bring them all back at once because that could throw our logistics off a little bit. We'll bring them back piecemeal over the 4 or 5 turns that hopefully it rains and get them set up just for ground support to support what I hope is an early summer offensive. We've got fighter bombers, we've got fighters, but not very many fighters. I mean, if you look at this, yikes, I mean, we don't have very many fighters. The fighter bombers aren't nearly as good, of course. If we look at this group here, it's the 190As. Okay. They're not really great bombers. They're really not great fighters, but they're airframes, so we'll take them. We've got a decent number of these, decent number, 200 or so. TAC bombers, what do we have back here? 30, 30, 33, 25, 30. We've got a decent number of TAC bombers we can bring back on. We've got a lot of level bombers that can, help out with ground support. We've got all the recon in the world. If you want me to recon anything, we can recon it because we've got enough recon aircraft to last till the end of the game, I think. We do have this group of 41 transports, although transport has become less important. Now, we are transporting over to the Crimea, but what we've got out there now has now started to really keep them in a decent amount of supply. But we'll look at that, this time and see. We got a group of 41 here, 47, another 47. So we have cranked out some transport aircraft, and maybe that's something we want to look at bringing back on the map sooner rather than later to keep flying over here either to Sevastopol or the depot to the north of Sevastopol. We never have gotten this to this rail to work. But anyway, okay. So what are our main things now as we go to the next hurdle? What do we have to hold on to? Well, we've got about 67 points to play with, but I don't want to play with them. Tallinn is a tough one, right? Because this is the easiest place to defend for us on the map. Yet, several times it's looked like maybe they could push beyond here. It's been 18 months up at the Narva line. I think we got to just keep holding on here as long as we can because we have to hold Riga. If we gave up all three of, Pskov, Riga, and Tallinn, now that's 48 points, and he only needs one other city to make it next time. And he's almost certainly to get one other city because we're going to give up Minsk this time. So Minsk is gone. We can't give up these three. Now, we could go back and say we're just going to defend Riga, but once he breaks through here, we don't have enough. I would much rather defend this bottleneck right here than try to defend this all the way or defend this all the way across, this way, certainly. Now, we could fall back to Riga and just make a straight line like this. Maybe we'll get to a point we have to do that and we give up Pskov and Tallinn and we just go on a straight line right here because I am going to give up Minsk. And so we're going to try to get more units up here to defend Riga. Pskov has been very strong. I really think we make the line straight down for Pskov to the extent we can. So I'm going to try to do an encirclement here eventually to try to straighten this line out a little bit. We've got infantry, although we need a lot of help towards Königsberg. Again, I never thought I'd be saying that, but that's where we are. We need some of these units to get up here and take over for the motorized units so they can get back, get on reserve, get ready for some kind of offensive, okay? We've got crap here, and it's starting to really cost us. Again, we've got a mech unit here sort of trapped. We may be able to, we have these completely encircled, this mech unit. This is Brest-Litovsk. We need to get that depot, get this settled, take back over these hexes. We've got a number of German units here, but you can see we've got more Hungarians there. That will eventually become a problem. The Soviets have been pushing all along the line, but they're really threatening to break through here towards Lvov. Of course, the AI is going to go for Lvov, Warsaw, Königsberg. It's going to go for the victory points as it should. We're playing a point-based game. You see all the depots we have in the south. This is all held up pretty well, but a lot of these units are getting ragged, and we have a lot of units that have withdrawn. You can see the Italians are now gone from the Crimea. Okay, let's go to our air doctrines. We're still running ground support. That's all going to be fine for this turn if I'm not bringing on more aircraft. So let's execute our air directives. Yeah, Stanley, when I read your comment under that war in the Pacific, I immediately thought, gosh darn it, you're exactly right. I only needed that one more regiment to put the division back together. So, hey, what's up, Wolf Apostle? How are you? You're a new name to me. Typhoons in Ukraine. Oh my god, it's the end times. Yeah. Sevastopol is worth 30. Yeah, if the AI ever got around to yeah, we have a 100-mile gap out there by Königsberg, but luckily we got all those units coming on the map, and everything dropping back from Minsk can start to help there. I'm not as concerned about that as I am maybe the push towards Riga or all of the worn-out assets we have down near Odessa. Um, I agree. Nord says certain cities trigger certain events. That is true. That is true in Romania. Uh, if they take certain cities in Romania, the Romanians flip. That's what he's saying. No, I understand that. I understand that. I'm just saying the AI, for the most part, is going to be vectoring towards those cities. That doesn't mean that's the only cities it goes for, but if the AI is sitting here looking at this, it's probably going to be programmed to go to Lvov, not Zamask, for instance, right? Now there may be that's generally speaking, there may be an event that triggers if it gets here. So in that case, you're right. Maybe the AI would prioritize that, but I'm just assuming for the most part, it's going to be vectoring towards the victory point locations. Look, is that always true? Probably not. I mean, he's running a full line trying to get into Romania. Well, there's no victory points here, right? So you would say the AI, why isn't it all here or all going there or all going towards Lvov? Well, I'm certain that the algorithm looks at the fact the Romanians would flip if he gets deep enough in here and takes Romanian cities, that's why it wants to keep a strong force pushing that way. Agreed, agreed. So you're right. You're right. Um, okay, Narvalon, let's take off the depots for a moment. And this unit here is showing as under strength, I thought. Now, it may have been this fortified zone, but regardless, if we've got this on defensiveness, 24 and 28, the two edges of this are the level 2 forts, and not coincidentally, the lowest levels of defensive value. That is only a 28. I think Lucas brought up in his comment to the previous episode that basically if you're over 30 on the German side, you're probably pretty good. On the Axis side, you're probably pretty good. But 28, 24, I mean, you can see the Soviets are massing right here. He's got, decent sized force there and there. He's got the rockets behind it. And I think it is time to bring up another division here. Look, I know we've got a lot of needs, but if this breaks, we're in really big trouble. We cannot stop them in Estonia. I mean, that would cause us to have to bring our whole line back to Riga, and then we're in the kind of the same situation, which is we lose one more town and we're toast. So I'm going to try to hold this as long as I can. To do that, I think we have to bring. What is down here at Königsberg? Oh, it is Luftflotte 1. I was wondering what that was. Uh, I do think we need to bring a unit up there, and I probably want to take the weakest of them, maybe the 134th ID, and give it to Lindemann. Lucas brought up another great point is as we get into the spring here, German generals are going to go up to a 10 command points, right? So they can take 5 divisions. So I'm not going to put another corps up there, up here, because Lindemann's already got 4 divisions, right? Let's bring this into here just on top of Lindemann. Now, it's not going to be able to get off the train, but let's bring one more division in here. Yep, we needed 55. Oh, crap. We had 51, but that's okay. He can't get off the train. But next time, we're going to probably put this new unit either there or there and take one of these guys off, set it here, let it rebuild on or put it on reserve, depending on how I feel about it at the time. But we're going to back one of these off, kind of rebuild it, move it up here, move the other one off, try to rebuild it a little bit, and then we'll have the 5th division act as reserve whenever we get to a 5th division. So let's put this on 50th Corps under Lindemann. Again, oh, he just flipped. Nice, Lucas. Nice call. Okay, so now German generals, at least, I'll have to look at the Romanians or otherwise, maybe it's all of the Axis, I just don't know, are now at 10 command points. Okay, the armies then go up to 30. Well, that's helpful. We needed that. Now, as part of 16th, we've got these fortified zones here in red. Uh, they're a little out. They're not out of command range. They're showing as red because they're not completely supplied. Sometimes these fortified zones kind of drive me crazy, but it's fine. I mean, this really should be showing if they're out of command. But I guess it is showing if we do have a supply problem with them because they're in command. So I don't know. Doesn't really matter. We're going to keep them there either way. They give us a 2 defensiveness. They've been building fort levels. We actually, did I attach the construction? Yeah, we've got construction battalions in there building. So let's make sure I have one. We have one there, and one there. All right, so hopefully that'll get up to a level 2 fort. So if we do have to fall back, we've already got a level 2 fort there. Okay, 16th Army. The Soviets have completely abandoned this land bridge now, it seems. Okay, I mean, we've had a regiment sitting there forever. It is the difference between playing a human and the AI, right? A human would have tried to bust across there. Well, it never has. We can set this on static, by the way. That adds 41 trucks and 1 AP. He's never going to move. I mean, we're going to keep him there forever. We may as well. These guys, we could probably do the same bit, but I don't want to do it with these two because we are going to be moving them off the line soon. But these guys probably can. Uh, I'll think about that. I'm going to go read more about setting things on static. I just want to make sure I'm not going to do something that's somehow a negative. I get it. They use less trucks, they use less supply, you get an AP, so on and so forth. But I want to look at the downsides because since I've been playing this game since before it came out, I haven't sat down and gone page by page through the rule book yet. Um, Salty, no, I don't believe they build on their own. That's why I put the construction battalions in there. Um, Salty. You're right. By the time I play XTRG, the baby, I'll be holding the baby right here. I'll be teaching her how to play. That's a good point. I'm trying to put one of these videos up every day so it keeps moving. And look, I could sit here and declare victory now. I think we're in good shape. It's still going to be close in some respects, but I now think that we held on through that check. I think we're pretty good. That being said, I've promised that I'm going to play it through, so I'm going to play it through. Okay, this extra command is very helpful, right? I mean, it really is. Just that one point is a huge deal. Von Arnhem down here has 9 of 10. And you may say, why is that? He's got 3 divisions. Well, they're Finnish divisions, so they cost 3 to command. All of these are getting good supply, good bullets, good everything. Whoa, wait a minute. Get on the Finns. I thought I was on. Oh, I got to get off of Von Arnhem. Uh, yeah, the ammunition's not quite up to 100, but they're getting food. They're feeling good. These Finns are at 85 on TOE, 82, 86. I mean, they're looking good. They've been good. We've got Stugs attached to each one of the divisions. That all, checks out, so to speak. Here we've got the 23rd Corps. Now, one thing, not 23rd Corps, we've got the 42nd Corps. This is Stimmerman, and Stimmerman is not quite as good at mech. Now, I've been wanting to put this mech unit. Hey, look, I love having Bulk command them. Don't get me wrong, he's a great commander, but they're taking a huge mismatch core penalty, which is like 36%. It's like the biggest penalty in the game. Now, the infantry's getting worn down, but I now think because we got this extra point, we can put the mech in here. But to do that, I think we should get rid of Stimmerman and get someone that's got a decent mech score. But who? We could put Brandenburger in here. We could switch Brandenburger out of that mountain core that we've now put in the south. He's an 877. That looks pretty damn good, right? Um, I think I may do that. It's only going to cost 8 points. I like that. Let's put Brandenburger in here. Volkamer now takes charge of the mountain core. We'll have to check that out when we get down here. Now, I always like Brandenburger. He looks like a Dr. Seuss character to me. Brandenburger does. So that's how I always remember him. I'm like, it's Dr. Seuss, the Cat in the Hat. 86677. I think it's that soft chin potentially, or the overbite. Anyway, Anyway, why am I talking about such things? I don't know. I don't know. Let's now take Totenkopf and put it in 42nd so we don't take that mismatch penalty. Now, eventually it'll be in the SS command, but the SS command's way down here with other SS units. Uh, okay, Oh, by the way, let's make sure nobody's withdrawing here. Ready, ready, ready. We're going to come back and decide whether to put them on static. That is now on static. These guys cannot go on static. Um, the fins cannot. 105, 104, 89. These all look good. Totenkopf is now in there. They're all under Brandenburger. Does Brandenburger have his... why did I just do that? That's not what I wanted to do. Does Brandenburger have his sport units? Just to make sure he does. That all looks good. Von Arnim. We could put another artillery in there, but overall that looks fine because we've got the Stugs automatically co- connected there. So we're going to have three Stug battalions in every battle there. And then we have the other two portions of 42nd, including this unit that's in pretty good shape. Now, again, we could set all these to static. I understand the arguments for it. It's not been fluid for a long time. So certainly these units, we could do that. And maybe I will here before the end of the turn. 13th Panzer's back here on reserve. It's under Balk, and he's a fantastic general, obviously. Cannons, howitzers, motorized, mix, Jug, that all looks fantastic. He's got a higher supply priority. He's only commanding now 4 of 10. Okay, Bulk is obviously an excellent general. How's he on the ground? Yeah, he's an 8. So I gave these guys to Brandenburger. I've got my guy Theobald Lieb that's in charge of this group, but we may be better off to give all of these guys to Bulk. Um, so Lieb's at 9 of 10. That's also because he has this Luftwaffe field division. I think what we're going to do instead is take Hermann Bulk. Now, I hate to keep giving him infantry, but he's got a number of armored units here. So he is 57th Panzer Corps. He's got all of that. So I think what we're going to do, that's 57th. I think we're going to put the one, he's only stacked 1. Okay, I could leave him, and these guys could actually trade places. Let's move Bulk up there, and I'll move Theobald Lieb down here. This is still in command. He's sitting on a panzer unit, but the panzer unit, I'm going to keep this infantry and this infantry under Bulk. But that panzer division, this panzer division, and both of these guys are going to go under Bulk. 57th Panzer Corps and 57th Panzer Corps. And now we've got no mismatch penalties at all up here anywhere. And we don't have any overstacks. I could even put this infantry in to Bulk. And maybe I should. I may come back to that. Theobald Lieb then would only have the Luftwaffe Field Division and this regiment. That seems like a little bit of a waste. I mean, he's got the monocle. He's a pretty good general. Who do we have here? This is Valor, who's an excellent general. We don't want to take anybody away from Valor. Okay, I'm actually going to move. Let's do that. Let's keep him up here, Theobald Lieb. I'm just going to scoot him back a hex. And then I'm going to take this infantry and give it to Bulk for now. For now. Obviously, it's easier to change them in this game. In the first game, you got to pay political points to change commands. What a nightmare that would be now. Okay, so now why did these change back? I swear to God, I just changed them. Maybe I'm going mad. 57th Corps. Maybe I did. Well, that's weird. I could have sworn I changed these guys. I don't know what happened. 57th Corps. Now you've got your best general out here, other than von Manstein, probably Hermann Balk. 8, 8, 6, 8, 7. That's pretty dang good. You've got him at 10 of 10. That's better than having Lieb at 10 of 10, even though Lieb's pretty damn good. We could eventually take Lieb and go give him a bunch of infantry, but we don't want to take Valor out of the driver's seat. He's at 10 of 10. Oh, by the way, how's 18th Army looking? He's at 21 of 30. Much better, much better. How's 2nd Panzer looking? Where are you, Erich von Manstein? That's the name of a German punk band's album. Where are you, Erich von Manstein? 2nd Panzer's at 28 of 30. Okay, that looks fine. So we've got Valor here. Now SS Panzer Corps has got is sitting right here. I don't like that actually. Let's scoot the headquarters back. But he's only got 2 SS divisions because the other one's up here and needs to be up here. Uh, okay, I hate having this on the line all by itself. I really, really would like to get something in here for Das Reich. This is a brand new division. This is Das Reich. I think I want to attack here. Let's move this here. Let's double click, get them both, and attack right there and try to blow this out. And we should blow that out. We have, those are really good units, right? 521, 13, and 10 for us. I'd rather not take the 10 there, but the Soviets take 42, 55, 76, and 56. I mean, if we're going to get 5 to 1, it's hard to pass it up. 3 and 10, and we knock him back. You know, out here by Riga, we've got to start. We can't go any further back. Maybe that's the best way to say it. All right. Now then, he can back right back up and go right back on reserve. Let's do that. Now, eventually, I want this on reserve as well. Maybe we'll be able to pull that off, but not with a Luftwaffe field division, certainly. This Luftwaffe field division, I actually want right there, I think. Oh, big train that just went by. Now, this, he's got no combat prep points. This is a kind of a newer, division. I really would like to hit right here, but I think that may be a bridge too far. Oh, let's look at movement. He's got 16, so he could, but he can't do a deliberate attack because of the terrain. Usually with motorized on a 16, you could do a deliberate attack, but he can't do it here because of the terrain into the swamp. So that is, no, it's into the light woods. Okay, but we have a few extra units here. Now, I did not want to give up this level 3 fort, and I still feel the same way. But we've got a new division there. We've got motorized there. The Luftwaffe field division's there. So we've got a lot of zone of control right here. That all looks fine. I need to get this motorized out of here. And I think I don't want to give up this level 3 fort, but I think it might actually be the smart thing to do. Oh, GD here. This, I've got him on reserve. I'm going to put him back into the reserves for a turn. He's just so beaten down. Let's put that into the Axis reserves, okay? And then I think we'll just stay as we are here. This is swamp. That's going to be tough to take, whatever they bring. The motorized is in the clear. That's how we would like that. It's at Jagapils. This is a strong new unit. We have this just backing this up. This is all under 38th. 38th, he is not a good mech general, though. Hartmann, and he's got a mech unit. Is there a different place we could put it? Well, maybe. Let's look at Steiner. Felix Steiner. Doesn't get more German than that. Could he go into the SS Corps? I believe he can. So Steiner is better with mechs. Let's put him in the SS Corps. I'm not sure. Do we take a penalty by putting that in an SS Corps? You guys may know better than I do. Well, I don't know about that, Nord. I'm not saying you're wrong. Nord's saying only attack if you're going to be creating a small pocket. Uh, I don't know. Well, I'm not disagreeing with you. I think that's generally my mindset. But when we have an easy one there, we can take out 20 to 1 on the infantry, 5 to 1 on the AFVs. But yes, generally speaking, I think you're right. Wait a minute. 5 turns a day, Salty. Salty, you just want me playing War in the West. I did promise someone on one of the War in the West tutorials. Somebody commented today, I love these videos. I'm on number 8. Do you plan on continuing? Yes, I do. And I say that to Salty directly because he has asked many times, when are the other War in the West videos coming out? I'm trying to diversify just slightly. War games will always be number one on this channel. They're the best strategy games in my mind, but I do like 4X games. And there's a bigger group of people that play those games. I mean, look, these are my favorite games, war games, but like Old World or Distant Worlds 2, there's a niche there to be filled as far as doing tutorials for that because a lot of people want to play those games. Oh, yeah, I forgot. This unit's not very good, by the way, and neither are these units. They are in distress. This one certainly. And I'm wondering. He's in reserve and he is blocking any movement past here, but I'm actually wondering if we should do something there. Some of these units, now this unit's in great shape. This, I would love some infantry in there. I'm even tempted to move the Luftwaffe Field Division there and the Panzers here. It might be a better idea, but I'm going to continue to think about that. We may want to bring another unit up here. We've got the Luftwaffe Field Division there. We just talked about these units. That's fine. We did take this out from underneath Hartmann. He's just more of an infantry man. He's a grunt. Then we get to von Manstein. He's only got 6 of 10, so the more we can give to von Manstein, the better. He could move back down here, or damn it, I could have put this in with von Manstein. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Although, yeah, I could have. Well, crap. Crap. That's all I can say about that. We are going to move von Manstein back here, and we'll move both of these into the 56th Panzer Corps. All right, for this turn and maybe this turn only, because I do want to get that motorized underneath his command. But let's put both of these into the 56th. So now von Manstein, we want him to have as much as possible. And now we'll move this around over here. Now the Soviets obviously bulging here. And the 47th is right back here. Actually, let's maybe put him here and build a depot here. Yes, let's build a depot right there. It's on that rail. That's fine. We'll put it as a level 4. Let's look at our depots out here. Just a little bit closer potentially, or if we get shoved back, we may as well have one there. Not sure why this is a 2. Let's make this a 4. As a matter of fact, this time around, let's really look at our depots. 4 and 4, 4, 4. That all looks good. 4's up here. 4's there. 4's there. 3 in Riga. That's perfect. A bunch of 4's there. 4 and 4. We'll do Kaunas as a 2, Vilnius as a 3. Eventually, these will be 3 and 4. Well, we're not going to get anything through to this one in our next logistics phase, so maybe we go ahead and do that. Let's make this a 3, Vilnius a 4, because I do think we have enough room to get everything out of here, right? Or close to it. Yeah, we do. Oh, that's also why I wanted to do that command with von Manstein, but we'll change that next time. Ooh, so this infantry can only get to here. So we're not going to be going beyond here, but that was probably always the case. Yeah, all of this can get out, but we can still get freight to here. So let's go ahead and keep these the same. 2, 3, and 4 out to that. And then we're going to be abandoning Minsk. And so let's go ahead and disband that depot because we're going to abandon that. Wow, I've lost all track of time. Where are we? Oh, we're at 50 minutes. Peace Stralin. Well, Peace Stralin, I still got stuff to do on that. I will say, if you're curious about starting War in the West, they're not 100% identical. But if you go back and you watch the War in the East 2 for this game, the basic tutorial or even the quick start tutorial, it'll give you a lot of the 95% of the building blocks of this game. Now, War in the West is a little different because it's all about strategic bombing. Uh, but if you go back and watch those, it'll prepare you to play War in the West because movement, attacking, logistics, a lot of that is very much the same. Um, Okay, so we do have, maybe I should work backwards here a little bit from Minsk, right? We do have this motorized unit. He's not in the best shape. He's also not in the worst shape. It was the best of times and it was the worst of times. We've also got this Panzer and another motorized. Ooh, this is beautiful. Uh, so von Manstein's 10 of 10. Guderian then has got 28 of 30. We're going to be bringing more here, though. Guderian's going to get a little overstacked, but we may turn these into an assault army. The problem is we've got infantry in here now that we're going to have to give to who? Theobald Lieb. That's what we'll do. All right, so Bulk has taken that, 10 of 10. Lieb's only at 3 of 10, but we can give his guys to... That's 10 of 10. That's 9 of 10. So 23rd Corps, this can go into 23rd Corps. Okay, I just put him. Gosh darn it. Okay, next turn I will. The field division, I'm not nearly as worried about. He was already in 20th Corps. 9 of 10. What if I took Valor and moved him north? He's at 10 of 10. I want this to have command just on the off chance he tries to do something squirrely. I could put it directly under 16th this time. 16th is now at 32. But I think we're going to take Lieb and move him right in this area to pick up this infantry. So then von Manstein can take some of this armor, mech, all of this stuff moving back. Although, so this is 47th. Von Senger Unetterlin, I love to say that. He's a good mech general, good enough. For the Germans, he's just above average slightly, but he's good overall for the game, certainly. 7 and 7 on morale and mech. But we'll do all of that next time because I'm going to look at this because we do have an extra core here. I think we actually have an extra core somewhere else in this area. But I'm going to go look for it. Oh, we do. We have like this core back here. Ernst Highway to Hell. You're on the highway. I don't know why I'm singing so much today. It's because it's a Sunday. Anyway, you guys be good. Oh, Sarge, you know what? Before we go, yeah, I got a few minutes here. Let's go to the reserves at ground. Now, I went back there and looked at the air, and then I got slightly distracted. That happens sometimes if you guys haven't noticed. 4th Panzer, that'll come back on the map. Let's take refit off. It's at 87, good enough. Let's put it on the map. Transfer to the map. Yes. Okay. Now then, let's go back and look at these infantry that now we got to make sure these guys are not going to be withdrawn. That's good. Let's take refit off. And let's move him to the map. Yes. He's at 88 on the TOE. 87 here, refit off. And let's turn him back onto the map. Back onto the map, he said. Yes, let's do that. Okay. The Romanian's at 77. I may leave him here for another turn. We've got an 87 here for the Germans, though. I definitely want to move German units back on at 87. That's fine. I always like the psychedelic mushroom sigil that the 205th had. I don't know what they were doing out on the Eastern Front. Maybe making truffle oil, but it seems a little psychedelic to me. Refit off map. Okay, so we're going to get 5 somewhat rebuilt divisions next time. They're at 88. Refit off and back to the map. And now, as you can see, we're really starting to cut down on what's here. More of it will start to flow back to the map, but we're going to have to spend or put some more things here on refit. 4 or 5 of these divisions as well. So they'll all be out there for the spring, early summer offensive. I hope they can hold the line more. We need all of this infantry, right, to hold the line, uh, to hold the breakthroughs. If we're going to be trying to complete some encirclements, we are going to need some infantry for that. But just to free up the motorized and get them off the defensive line, we need all of this, right? But I'm going to have to go and look at which one of these are withdrawing so we don't rebuild those. That's just a waste of resources, right? 23rd Panzer got back to 72 on the OB, or the TOE. I'm going to leave it in here for a turn. I'm going to let that try to get closer to 100%. All right, guys. Be good. Be good. You guys are great. I really appreciate all the support. We're speeding towards 6,000 subs. Like, I don't know, people have been signing up like crazy. It's really, it's amazing to me. We'll be over 10,000 before you know it. But anyway, we'll also be through this game before you know it. But yeah, I may have a baby by then. So anyway, thank you so much. Have a great rest of your weekend. I'm going to put up a recording tomorrow. There will be no live stream tomorrow, but then I'll come back and live stream on Tuesday. Okay, so we'll do a live stream at 3 o'clock on Tuesday. I'm going to put up a recording tomorrow because I'm going to do some Distant Worlds during the normal time tomorrow. Don't worry, I'm just doing Distant Worlds, just kind of starting that series. But I'll be doing more recordings for that. This game I try to live stream every time I can because you guys are a lot of fun. Nobody's ever told you that before, I'm sure.